and welcome back to my channel. Thank you if you're new here or you're visiting again after watching my first one. Thank you for just taking a few moments for this newbie booktuber. Hopefully this is more structured because I have notes. I have made some notes. But yeah, I've been wanting to film this morning and then I was on the phone for nearly 2.5 hours trying to cancel a holiday. Trying being the operative word because I still couldn't get through, and I was just getting to the point where I was getting too anxious and I was like, this is going to be after left for another day because I want to film, because I was actually really excited to film. So this was originally going to be a tag, but I think my next video will be a tag. I want to do the reading habits tag because I love watching that one. And so this one is going to be my, not all of them because I have quite a few, but like the standout pre-orders of this year so far, because a lot for like the last 2 quarters of the year, not a lot are out. October, November and December are pretty sparse in terms of pre-orders that I'm interested in. So they all tend to be this first half. I'm not including sequels in a series. I don't want to go on and spoil anyone else. One of them, which I think is the final one, is actually already out. It came out in November, I think, but it's a pre-order for the paperback. If I'm really excited for the book, I will pre-order the hardback when it first gets published here in the UK. But if it's one that I'm excited for, but I know I'm not going to get to it for a while, I don't mind waiting for the paperback. There's quite a few that I haven't put in this list that are paperback pre-orders of ones that have been out for like a year. Why is there such a gap? I know it's because hardbacks are more expensive, but just give us the option, please, because I love a paperback, and it's always it's always so hard watching like people read them in vlogs and review them, and I'm like, I could pay and get the hardback, but I've got so many other things pre-ordered. I will wait for the paperback. So I have got my book of notes. It's my tablet, but the modern book of notes. I'm going to read the actual synopses the publishers have given because I am terrible at explaining things. You probably already picked that up, but I am terrible at explaining things. But the first one is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan, and this is out on February the 24th. A lot of people have likened this to The Witcher in some aspects. I'm going to read now, so apologies, I will be looking down at this because I also have a bad memory on top of not being able to explain things well. So here we go. No man is above the law. The empire of the wolf simmers with unrest. Rebels, heretics, and powerful patricians all challenge the power of the imperial throne. Only the Order of Justices stands in the way of chaos. Sir Conrad von Volt is the most feared justice of all, upholding the law by way of his sharp mind, arcane powers, and skills as a swordsman. In this he is aided by Helena Sedanka, his clerk and protégé, orphaned by the wars that forged the empire. When the pair investigate the murder of a provincial aristocrat, they unearth a conspiracy that stretches to the very top of imperial society. As the stakes rise and become ever more personal, von Volt must make a choice. Will he abandon the laws he's sworn to uphold in order to protect the empire? I already like the premise. From what I've heard, even though the synopsis makes it sound as coming from von Volt's perspective, from what I've heard, it's from the point of view of his clerk and protégé, Helena. That'll be interesting to have it from a female perspective as well, so I'm very excited for that. I've got to make sure I've read all the rest of my TBR, ready for that coming out near the end of February, because there's only 28 days in February, so I doubt this will be on my February TBR, because if it doesn't arrive on the release date, that gives me less than 4 days to read it, and it's not massive, but it's not short. So the second one, which was, how was it explained to me? So someone's first reaction to the book being released on Goodreads was giving me all the Teen Wolf vibes, and I was here for it. So it's called The Alpha's Son by Penny Jessup, and it's out on February the 12th. It's actually been described in the synopses as, in the blurb, as Netflix's Younger Royals meets Teen Wolf. That just sold it to me. Like, it doesn't take much. I've seen Young Royals, loved it. Watched the first 2 seasons of Teen Wolf, loved it. Kind of didn't like how it panned out, but I love the characters. Styles is one of my favourite fictional characters ever. So here is the synopsis. Max Remus couldn't care less about finding his mate, unlike the rest of his fate-obsessed pack. He totally prefers hanging out with his bestie, eating his dad's steak sandwiches and drawing in his trusty sketchbook. But all of that is about to change at the Blue Moon Festival, a summer camp where elite pack wolves go to find their mates. The festival is a rite of passage for every teen werewolf, and this year's festival will be the one to howl home about. The alpha son, Jasper Apollo, is attending for the first time. When Max finds himself inexplicably linked with the exceptionally handsome but totally jerk-faced heir, he's forced to grapple with the unexpected feelings clawing at his soul. If Max rejects his destiny, will fate's bite be worse than its bark? So, I'm not getting 100% like enemies to lovers from this. I love the trope of the polar opposites. I hope like the chemistry is written right. I hope the chemistry is written well. That was horrible English, I do apologise. Because that will make it or break it for me. But I'm so excited. And the fact that he's called Max Remus, just, yeah, so cool. That is that one. The next one is out on March the 17th. If we remember correctly, I will also write in the date next to the title because I've done them after the title and before the title when I'm speaking, so confusion. So this is the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. I'm already in there because I love Godzilla. They're big, they're bad, and they're about to become extinct. Jamie's dream was to hit the big time at a New York tech startup. Jamie's reality was a humiliating layoff, then a low-wage job as a takeaway delivery driver. During a pandemic too. Things look beyond grim, until a chance delivery to an old acquaintance. Tom has an urgent vacancy on his team. The pay is great and Jamie has debts. It's a no-brainer choice. Yet once again, reality fails to match expectations. Only this time it could be fatal. It seems Tom's animal rights organisation is way more than it appears. The animals aren't even on Earth, or not our Earth anyway. In an alternate dimension, massive dinosaur-like creatures roam a tropical human-free world. And although kaiju are their universe's largest and most dangerous animal, they need support to survive. Tom's Kaiju Preservation Society wants to help. However, others want to profit. Unless they're stopped, the walls between our worlds could fall, and the consequences would be devastating. Now, I know it's completely not, but in my head, I'm trying not to go in with this expectation because it's completely not going to be this. It's just how my mind works. But when it said that the universe's largest and most dangerous animal, they need support to survive, I just think of these really cute chibi versions of Godzilla and Mothra and that, and it's not going to be that. But I can live with that in my head. It's fine, I can separate the two. But yeah, I'm very excited for this because I've not read any John Scalzi, but I know my friend's read Redcoat, which I really want to read. From what I've gathered, he puts a lot of humour into his writing as well, even though it can be quite impactful. I'm very excited for this. The next one is a dark retelling, like fairy tale retelling, and must admit it's not something I've read a lot of. If you can't, yeah, Akatar is meant to be Beauty and the Beast, isn't it? Even though I wasn't a massive fan of the first one, I like the second one. I still need to read the third one. And the fourth one now. Going off topic. This one is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, and it's out on April the 26th. And I'm very excited for this premise because everyone's just said how dark it is. I'm like, please be dark, because I love like a dark, creepy fairy tale retelling. That sounds like perfection to me. So, after years of seeing her sisters suffer at the hands of an abusive prince, Mara, the shy convent-raised third-born daughter, has finally realised that no one is coming to their rescue. No one except for Mara herself. Seeking help from a powerful grave witch, Mara is offered the tools to kill a prince, if she can complete 3 impossible tasks. But, as in the way in tales of princes, witches and daughters, the impossible is only the beginning. On her quest, Mara is joined by the grave witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, and a chicken possessed by a demon. Sorry, just that bit when I read it the first time, I was like, I just need to read this book to see how that's done because it sounds amazing. A chicken possessed by a demon. It was one of those few things in life that I never thought I needed, but once I read it, I was like, I need that. I need that in my life. Together, the 5 of them intend to be the hand that closes around the throat of the prince and frees Mara's family and their kingdom from its tyrannous, I can't pronounce that old one, ruler at last. So yes, that sounds amazing. Like a ragtag little mismatched crew. The chicken. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited. The next one is by an author, F.T. Lukens. They did one and it was set like it was pirates. See, I haven't read it. My friend's read it and she enjoyed it. She said it was a fun-filled adventure romp. Still need to read it. My Goodreads TBR. So my Goodreads TBR doesn't include the TBR of my physically owned books. It's just books I don't own yet, but I want to read. And as I said in my other video, this bookcase is my TBR. Yay! And then on Goodreads, my unowned TBR is like 140 books. I don't know what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking like I'm going to become semi-immortal at some point in the future, because unless I crank out a book a day, I have kind of had an unhaul of books that have been on my TBR for that long. I've either forgotten what they're about, lost interest, or I've heard bad things. And I know I should formulate my own opinion, but when they're overwhelmingly negative reviews, or like there's been a problematic incident or anything like that, I'm like, it kind of takes my joy away from an excitement for reading the book, and probably should go into it with my own opinions, but can be easily swayed when it comes to books that have been on my shelf for about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So anyway, the next one, I've not put a date for release on this. I thought I was being so thorough. I'll put it here. But it's by F.T. Lukens and it's called So This Is Ever After. So the blurb, like explanation, says, carry on meets Arthurian legend in this funny, subversive, young adult fantasy about what happens after the chosen one wins the kingdom and has to get married to keep it and stay alive. So, Erec hasn't thought much about what would happen after he completed the prophecy that said he was destined to save the kingdom of Air from its evil ruler. So now that he's finally managed to, somewhat clumsily, behead the evil king, turns out magical swords yanked from bags don't come pre-sharpened, he and his ragtag group of quest companions are at a bit of a loss for what to do next. As a temporary safeguard, Arec's best friend and mage, Matt, convinces him to assume the throne until the true heir can be rescued from her tower, except that she's dead. Now, Arec is stuck as king, a role that comes with a magical catch. Choose a spouse by your 18th birthday or wither away into nothing. With his 18th birthday only 3 months away and only Matt in on the secret, Arec embarks on a desperate bid to find a spouse to save his life, starting with his quest companions. But his attempts at wooing his friends go painfully and hilariously wrong until he discovers that love might have been in front of him all along. Now, this sounds like a romp again, so I'm excited for that. And 2 more to go. Sorry guys, this is just me reading off a page, I do apologise. But again, I haven't actually physically read the book, so it's hard for me to process in my head and tell you what it's about when I have nothing but the description given by the publishers. So the next one is out on June the 9th. I've actually written it down this time. And it's Cafe Con Lychee by Emery Lee. Theo Mori and Gabrielle Marino have always been at odds. Their parents own rival businesses, an Asian American cafe and a Puerto Rican bakery. And Gabby's lack of coordination has cost their soccer team too many games to count. Stuck in the closet and scared to pursue his own dreams, Gabby sees his parents' shop as his future. Stuck under the weight of his parents' expectations, Theo's best shot at leaving Vermont means first ensuring his parents' livelihood is secure. So when a new fusion cafe threatens both shops, Theo and Gabby realise an unfortunate truth. They can only achieve their goals by working together to cook up an underground bakery operation and win back their customers. But can they put aside their differences long enough to save their parents' shops, or will the new feelings between them boil over? So again, spring going into summer territory, I always crave like a light rom-com. This is enemies to lovers, or at least not friends to lovers. Now, winter, spring, early spring, I like sci-fi fantasy. And then I still read them in the summer, don't get me wrong. Like I love a long book in the summer. But I also crave, that's the only time I really crave like contemporary romance, things of that nature. The last one, which is the one I was on about, is already out. The hardback came out in November, I believe, last year. So August the 2nd this year is when the paperback's out, and this is one I was on about. It's called You Sexy Thing by Kat Rambo, and I'm going to leave the little blurb description till the end because it just sold it to me instantly. So, Twice Far Station is at the edge of the known universe, and that's just how Nico Larson, former admiral in the Grand Military of the Hive Mind, likes it. Retired and finally free of the continual war of conquest, Nico and the remnants of her former unit are content to spend the rest of their days working at the restaurant they built together, The Last Chance. But some wars can't ever be escaped, and unlike the hive mind, some enemies aren't content to let soldiers go. Nico and her crew are forced onto a sentient ship, convinced that it is being stolen, and must survive the machinations of a sadistic pirate king if they ever hope to keep the dream of The Last Chance alive. So this sounds fun. This just sounds... I've heard, though, from reviews, because it's already been released last year, that it's not as of a fun romp as it makes it sound. And the blurb is Farskeep meets the Great British Bake Off. And it's spread beyond the UK, I know, but the Bake Off is a UK institution now, along with QI. Stephen Fry is a national treasure. I feel like it's my duty to read this. Only joking, I actually genuinely want to read this. But yeah, they're the ones I'm most interested in. Like, I'm interested in all my pre-orders, otherwise I wouldn't have pre-ordered them, but these are the ones that aren't sequels or continuations of the series, or aren't manga, because the manga I've got pre-ordered are all like not the first issue. But yeah, I think there's a good mix. It's all fantasy. Thank you for watching this. I do apologise, I've just been too reliant on that, and I've been looking down, so apologies for that. I'd be interested to hear what your pre-orders are for the year. If you've got any, just let me know. I'm like always up for new recommendations. If you want to say why you're interested in reading it, if it's like a new author, new book completely new to you, you've heard about randomly, they're the best books, I think, when you just randomly see them as a recommendation for a book that you're already reading or want to read on Goodreads or somewhere, and you just click on it randomly because the cover looks cool, and then you read the synopsis and it's like, oh, that's what happened with Cafe Con Lychee. It was like a recommendation for another book I was interested in, and I'm more excited for the Cafe Con Lychee than I am the book I was originally interested in. Let me know if there's any of the books that I've listed that you're interested in and might be on your pre-order list. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be back soon with a tag video, and have a wonderful day, everyone, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.